Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, classmates. Today, I will talk about the literature, grammar, and conclusion, the four-prong approach. So before we start, let's read first our learning objectives. So first, at the end of this lesson, you are expected to explain the features of the four-prong approach to teaching literature and language skills, integrate different language skills through literature study, and second, plan lessons integrating literature and grammar lessons. Using literature in teaching English and communicative competence has been argued to be beneficial to learners. So why is it beneficial? According to Colley and Slater, 1990, these cited four reasons to favor the use of literature in the language classroom. First, it is valuable. Second, it is authentic material. Next, it provides cultural enrichment, and it offers language enrichment and provides personal involvement of the learners. Moreover, it is also a rich source for learning reading, according to Strong 1996. So the use of different literary genres helps in teaching communicative skills as they provide context to develop not only reading strategies but also vocabulary acquisition and grammatical forms and appreciations of other cultural values. In a study of Beck and McKeon 2001, noted an increase in the vocabulary of the learners attributed to specific vocabulary activities associated with reading texts. Among young learners, oral reading is useful in developing their knowledge background, exposing them to new word meaning in other contexts, and promoting incidential learning of grammatical points, according to Mayer and Wardop 1994. So one approach to integrating literature in the language class is the four-pronged approach developed by Basilisa Manhut, a reading professor of the University of the Philippines. So the approach is rooted in several philosophical foundations, namely, it is literature-based, it is holistic, and its emphasis is on the process of transfer, according to Ocampo and Hermosa 1997. So the four prongs are the first prong, genuine love for reading. So the objectives in this stage is to develop learners' appreciation to read. To achieve it, teachers need to select a literary selection and vocabulary level. An example is a story or a poem that is appropriate to the learner's characteristics, like the learner's interest or the learner's age. So in the first prong, or the genuine love for reading, where reading activities are involved, it is to motivate the learners to create interest for them to read. Also, it activates the prior experiences related to the reading selection, can make learners see the connections between what they know and what is to be read. Also, in this stage, difficult words are unlocked. Before the learners read, a motive question is raised. It is a question about the reading selection that will engage learners into an active inquiry as they read. It serves as the purpose for reading. Example, what is the story all about? What does the main character want to achieve? Then learners read the selection. While reading, readers monitor also their reading if they comprehended, guided by the motive question. The second prong is the critical reading. After reading the selection, the teacher engages the learners to process the reading activity. It involves post-reading activities. The learners answer the motive question, then they answer also different types of reading comprehension questions. So literal questions is reading the lines. Questions whose answers are directly found in the selection being read. Example, what happened when Berto released the bird? What incident made father realize he was wrong? And next will be the interpretative questions, or reading between the lines, are questions that requires learners to make inferences using the information or details found in the selection being read. Example, based on the descriptions of other characters about Juan, what kind of bird is she? Or why was Ray still happy even when the birthday party was cancelled? Next will be the evaluation of critical thinking. It means questioning the text and the author. Learners focus shifts through the assessment of the implicit message of the reading selection, questioning the message and purpose of the author. Example, could this story happen in your family? Were the statement of Jonah facts or her opinions? Next will be the application or value integration. Learners associate the story to their own experiences in life. They identify situations that they could relate with based on their experiences. Example, what part or incident in the story that you see yourself? Or why do you like or dislike this story? Next will be the creative understanding. Creative understanding is where learners transform the message they understood from the reading selection in a new form. They may be asked to draw and color the character they like the most, make a jingle or rhyme to convey the moral of the story, or act out the scene in the story they like the best. The third prong is the mastery of the structures of the language, or the grammar and oral language development. As learner responds to this question in the second prong, they develop speaking and listening skills as they talk about the selection being read. In addition, the teacher selectively writes on the board models or examples of functional language. As teacher guide them in processing these examples, learners discover the grammatical structure illustrated by the sentences. They form generalizations about the patterns observed from the given samples. After that, learners are given practice exercises to develop mastery of the grammatical structures learned. So the fourth prong will be the transfer stage. At the lower grade level, learners are engaged in activities to develop phonemic awareness, decoding, and encoding skills. At the higher grade levels, learners engage in oral reading of portion of the selection by observing correct word and sentences stress, phrasing, and blending of the final sound of a word to the initial sound of the next word. This chapter has reminded you that making learners at the elementary level appreciate literature is a major challenge among language teachers. Poor planning results in poor performance is a reminder that should be considered by teachers as they plan their literature-based literacy lessons. So to plan an effective and efficient lesson, always consider the following vital points we discussed in this chapter. That's all. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something from the discussion.